So today's a day. Today is a day. Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I am extremely fucking stressed out. I am consolidating my emails from 8 emails down to 4.
8 emails?
Yeah, so
who do you think you are, the president? No,
Yeah,
he just has a Twitter.
Yeah, just a Twitter. That's the only way you can contact him.
He doesn't have an email.
But so I'm doing that for my small business, and it's a pain in the ass because apparently at some point I literally signed up using all of these emails for something or other, so I'm having to like go through all of my emails and be like, I'm changing the subscription email. Fucking
that sounds like hell.
Past me. I hate past me.
Past me's a dick.
Oh my god. Oh, so
gross.
One thing before we get started, we are, for my personal safety, we are opening a P.O. box in the next week. Because I realized, so when I was sending out the prize packages, I was using my personal email address, or personal address. Mm-hmm. And some people were fine with it, but then, like, I messaged one of the people, and I was like, can you not share this, right? Because I'm using my personal address. And they never responded, and now I'm panicking.
Don't panic. They probably just didn't reply, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, so, like, with my small business and with prizes, and if you guys want to send us anything, that'll be there, but I'll announce that probably on Sunday or next week. But
nice.
TBD.
Very
it's
cool.
Happening.
Yeah. Mailbox.
Safety first.
Right, for real. Don't want any crazies after ya.
Fucking right. Oh my god. So, corrections.
Oh my god. We're such awful human beings. So both of us fucked up names last week. We're so sorry. Like, we're so sorry. Mine was just because of like a slight dyslexia error, and then we just like really exaggerated the other person's name.
So, yeah. So we were talking about Lizzie, and she couldn't pronounce Chloe Sevigny's name.
Sevigny.
And I said Sauvignon,
Sauvignon.
And that's a fucking wine.
That's what I thought. Because when you said that, I'm just like, where have I heard of Sauvignon before?
And then I told Flynn, and he's like, you know what? Now every time you talk about her name, you should just use a different wine, like Chloe Riesling or Chloe Rosé.
Chloe Marlowe.
Oh, so it's Sevigny, not Sauvignon.
Because I'm like, damn, I really am pronouncing it wrong. Fuck.
I was literally adding letters. Oh god.
So Chloe Sevigny, the actress and producer of Lizzie. So sorry for us. And then my mistake was I said, I think I fucking said the host of the Twilight Zone was Rob Stewart or some shit.
I was like,
or Rod
singer?
It's Rod Sterling. Yeah. So like it's the Rob and the S, but yeah, no, Rob Stewart is a singer, but it's Rob Sterling. So
okay. Wait, you wrote Rob Sterling. You wrote Rod Sterling in the notes. Is it Rob Sterling?
Rod. No, it's Rod Sterling.
Okay.
Rod Sterling. See, I might be adding fucking letters in there too, but no, Rod Sterling. He is my grandpa. The Twilight Zone.
Rod Sterling.
Grandpa. Yes. Oh boy, so that's our corrections.
Oh my god.
Welcome to Don't Drink the Kool-Aid, by the way.
We're totally disorganized, but we have a lot of fun.
Yes, Don't Drink the Kool-Aid, where we read submissions that you send in and or things we just want to share and read with you from the
random
internet
shit
or
on the
books.
internet.
Yes. Yep. I have 2 books with me today.
Oh, you're literally reading from books.
I am.
Okay.
I'm showing her books right now. I'm like, I brought books.
Yay, show and tell.
Yay. Even though you guys cannot see what I'm saying, but I will describe them. So.
Yes.
Yeah, so we read your shit. Like a little bedtime story. That you can cry to sleep to. I'm Paige, by the way.
I'm Kayla.
Yes.
Welcome. And we're Rainbows and Horror Movies, if we didn't say that.
That too, that as well. Yes, here we are. Or as my friend Mike likes to say, Ram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're Ram. That's
Ram.
such a like I don't know who that is, but it's not like Rams. Just saying Ram sounds redneck. Like, we're Ram.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Drive Dodge Rams.
great. We're already insulting people. Let's start our stories.
Oh my god. It takes all kinds, like Mark Twain said.
We don't have any submissions this week, so get on that.
Send us your stories, please.
You're in talks, I guess technically we're in talks to get some stories in the future from some authors, so that'd be cool.
From some short story writers, so yes.
Writers.
Yeah, writers. But we just compiled a couple things from our life memory bank that we want to share with you. What do you have today?
Do you want me to? I went first last time. You can go first this time.
Alrighty. So, let me see here. Let me just turn to page 394. I had to. So this first piece that I have to share, it's kind of out of left field a little bit for this podcast, but I feel like it is important. It needs to be shared, and it was interesting. So this is kind
strange and unusual.
It kind of is. Like, the whole story is kind of strange and unusual. So
then it works.
I mean, it just all depends on what you like classify as strange, but I would say so, and I think you would too. So I went to Pride Fest or Pride, whatever that thing.
That's what I called it.
Pride Fest last month where I live, and of course there were a lot of booths and dealers and stuff like that. So, my friends and I stumbled upon the socialist fucking booth.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and I'm not saying any sort of, like, politics on here. Like, I'm not saying... I really don't know a whole lot about them, necessarily, like, this group, but I'm not saying, like, what I'm for or against, whatever. But it was full-on socialist. They had the hammer and sickle, like, sign. Everything was red. Like, it kind of was like, whoa. So... me and my friend Marcy were kind of like, okay, like, that's cool. And then our friend Skade, who's super outgoing, and just talks to everybody, just, like, marched up and started talking to them, of course, and we're just like, oh my god. And fun fact about me, I really love zines. Do you know what zines are?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Graphic designer, I know it.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to, like, I was not trying to sound condescending, but, like, you didn't reply right away. And, like, a lot of people do not know what zines are. But zines are little, I guess, like, little, like, homemade magazines that...
like, micro magazines. A lot of bands put them out. Bands,
artists, like, they can be poetry, they can be pictures, they can be, like, whatever you want, but whenever I go to... Propaganda, apparently. Whenever I go to a local bookstore, I always have to check to see if they have zines, because I've been able to find some really cool things. But my friend pulled a bunch of their literature, and he gave me this zine because he thought it best suited me. It is called All Our Holes Are Hungry. Hungry for justice and fucking.
Oh, that escalated quickly.
No! Femme Shark Communique, #1. And the Femme Shark, it has, like, this little drawing of a shark with a bow on her hair.
Oh my god.
And I was like, what is a femme shark? Because it sounds like something that I want to be. And so they go into a lot of detail. There's a lot of kind of, like, spoken word-esque poetry, and there is a list, because I know Kayla likes lists, that I'm going to read in a moment of how to be a femme shark. So I'll just abbreviate this by saying, like, a femme is traditionally, like, a queer woman who identifies as more feminine, or, like, it can be men too. Totally whatever, like, anybody can be femme, but it's somebody that, like, puts the effort into, like, breaking gender stereotypes and being able to be feminine and still super badass. So that's a little bit of background there. But, so, their definition of a femme shark, and I just love it. Like, I don't know if you can see her, but
she has a little bow and the eyelashes.
And the eyelashes and the teeth. They're so cute. cute. So, a femme shark is any girl who is tough, hungry, fights for herself and her fam, and is working on becoming the kind of girl who finds love in herself and loves her fiercely. So, I don't know. Even though this zine kind of came from an unconventional place, it has some really good points. So, I'm going to share with you 10 things you can do to be a shark.
All right. Let's get in the water and start swimming.
Anyways, 10 things you can do to be a shark. And I don't know, I stumbled upon this the other day because I haven't fully read this until yesterday when I was looking for shit to read. And I just think these are just really kind of like essential rules that pretty much anybody can follow. Or should follow. So, anyways,
to be a shark or a femme? Or all of the above?
To be a femme shark and or people who are cool with femme sharks. So.
All right.
All right.
From a socialist perspective, let's go.
Right. I mean, you can say strange, unusual, whatever. So, number 1.
So far, so good.
Thank you. I'm glad. Number 1, be nice to other girls. Don't be a bitch unless it's to fight oppression and bullshit. Don't start stupid, insane drama that drains all your energy and the good out of your life. Don't see other femmes as competition or hate on them for achieving. Number 1A, stand up for other girls, right, who are being fucked with on the street, the subway, at the lineup in the airport. Number 2, fight oppression and bullshit. Fuck that word intersectionality, but, be that. Fight for queer and trans folk of color caught up in the prison industrial complex like the New Jersey 4, trans women of color who are OG sharks and have tons of people trying to kill them. True.
Yeah, truth.
So true. Number 5, eat a goddamn meal and enjoy it. Do not, and absolutely no offense to anybody who has eating disorders, by the way, but this says, eat a goddamn meal and enjoy it. Do not be anorexic or go around moaning that you gained all this weight so you're a size 4 now. Love being thick. Love having a body. Figure out how to do it. Aggressively pursue being fat and body positive. Eat a goddamn bacon avocado cheeseburger or some Lebanese or breakfast with some fried chicken in it. Preferably right after yoga. Work on not hating your body. And that is a big one. Like, seriously, really fatty foods like the bacon avocado cheeseburger after yoga, so good. Or any
that sounds
workout.
like after a night of drinking. That sounds amazing.
That too. Jesus Christ.
With like an egg on top.
Oh shit, bitch. Shit. Number 6. Sharks entice women of color against violence or are supporters. That's, yes, obvious one. Number 7, think about what kind of legacy, this is my favorite one. Number 7, think about what kind of legacy you want to leave in the world. I
really thought you were going to say legless. Think about what kind of legless being you want to be.
I mean, if that's what you want, but I'm getting to that. Think about what kind of legacy you want to leave in the world. Do it. Be ambitious, create community institutions, make your dreams real. So yeah, I mean, if you want to be legless, that's cool.
Be a goddamn shark.
Be a goddamn shark, right? Sharks don't need legs. Number 8, center women of color, disabled women, women with no money, trans and intersex folks, etc. We are not the goddamn Minority Report. We are a center of the universe. Hell yeah. Number 9, look fine on $5 or less. Don't buy into the idea that femme equals beauty and beauty equals money. But if you feel more comfortable wearing a fuck ton of makeup and having Louis bags, go for that as well. But don't think that you have to. So don't think that like your items equal your worth, because that's capitalist thinking, and like that's the thing that I do agree with the socialists. They do have some good points, I have to say. Like, you have to pick and choose, but
I'm like, I don't really like to spout this, but I'm probably like 75% socialist, just on like the majority of their thinking on things is very forward. Yeah, I would say, and it's very supportive of like the masses. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't want to talk politics very much.
No, it's fine. But like the people working at the booth who were talking to people, and a lot of people were like hating on them. They were very eloquent. They were very like well spoken, and they had good points. So I'll give them that. Mm-hmm. And then finally, number 10. Fuck and fight against the power.
Rah, rah. Woo.
Whether it's HRC, your mom, your fucked up uncle, the nonprofit, prison or military industrial complex, etc. Reclaim the power and dignity of femaleness, especially women of color, broke-ass, disabled, old, fat, and otherwise reveled forms of girlness.
All right.
Woo! So, yeah, out of left field a little bit. My next short story is going to be scary. I know you're gonna like it. But this zine was published in 2008 at the San Francisco Dyke March. So that's my first one. So you can live like a femme shark, like us.
Be a badass woman shark with makeup and bows.
Yeah, if you want to wear makeup and bows, yeah. Yes, express yourselves and support each other.
Isn't that what they call lawyers? They call lawyers sharks, right?
I think so. Or just like really aggressive retail employees.
Oh my god.
Do you need help today? Do you need help finding anything? Hi. Hi there. Can I hold that for you?
Oh my god.
Can I start a fitting room? Are you okay?
Yeah. Like, do you need to talk about your cat? Do you need to talk about your mother? What about your dead grandmother? Like, I've never gotten that, mind you, but like.
Are you all set?
I get so much anxiety, especially I went into like fucking Bath and Body Works the other day. Mm-hmm. And like literally they just kept like organizing the shelves around me. And then like randomly each individual would like ask me if I was okay. And I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. I just want my fucking candle and I want to leave.
Oh my god. You just like pretend that you're deaf and start signing. Not to, like, capitalize on deaf people whatsoever, but,
no.
Like, you know, if you're uncomfortable, just be like, I literally can't hear you.
Yeah, just, I can't hear you. I'm walking away now. But yeah, just leave me alone. Like, yeah. If I need help, I will come find you. Right. That's my line.
Or just ask once, and then that's good enough.
I also think that when they ask me too many times if I need help, I think that they think I'm stealing stuff.
Yeah. They might.
Maybe, but I get so paranoid. I'm like, I like keep taking my hands out of my pockets and like putting my backpack on my back and like walking around with my hands up. Like, I'm not stealing anything.
Like, not even like buying anything because you're afraid to touch it. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh wow. All right. Retail lesson for the day.
Yeah. I've worked in it. I know.
All right. So mine is kind of a follow-up, the same theme as my last one. But this is the Maury Island incident on Vashon Island in Washington.
Oh, okay. Vashon is like a 30-minute ferry ride from West Seattle?
Vashon is hell. We lived there for like 4 months.
You lived there?
It is. Yeah,
I went to summer camp there.
When we moved back from California, we stayed at my in-laws' house, and they have a house there.
Oh, okay.
It's so strange. It's such a strange little portion, because there's only like one way to get on, one way to get off. Well, actually, technically 2 ways to get on, 2 ways to get off. But it is waterlocked. Like, there's no land.
It's an island. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's a true to form island. No bridges, no roads off of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I felt so trapped all the time. But, when we moved there, everyone kept saying, hey, you like weird stuff. Did you hear about this? And I'm like, no, because you're all a bunch of weird-ass hippies. And
Some weird-ass hippies. Right? Like, they would live there.
Yeah. Oh my god. The Maury Island incident, it's about UFOs, and that's how it ties back to my last one. But anyways, so in the 1947 Maury Island incident is one of the lesser known Washington state UFO occurrences, but it should be better known for several reasons. It is probably the first incident where there are witnesses claiming, where a witness claimed that a man in black imitated Oh my god. Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My old ass needs to zoom in more. I thought I had
your old ass needs glasses. This is the third time.
It's only been a week.
You should get a literal magnifying glass and just read from the internet. That would make my day. But
okay, let me start this over. In 1947 Maury Island incident is one of those lesser known Washington State UFO occurrences, but it should be better known for several reasons. It is probably the first incident where a witness claimed that a man in black intimidated him into silence, and it took place before the famed Roswell crash, yet there were many similarities between the two. Moreover, the two military intelligence officers investigating the sighting died in a tragic air crash before they could complete their investigation. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, the two principal witnesses, Harold Dahl and Fred Chrisman, became objects of suspicion and controversy as the investigation continued. In 1947, a common hazard in the waters of Puget Sound was the logs that floated on its surface. They escaped from jams waiting to be turned into lumber and at nearby mills on the shore. That was like always like growing up. It's like, careful of logs.
There's just logs floating around everywhere.
Yeah. Yep. They kill people. Like
they can. Yeah.
Oh my god. It's scary. Anyways.
Washingtonians, where you at?
Several men worked as an informal harbor patrol, snagging these logs and taking them to the mills for a salvage fee. Harold Dahl worked on one of those boats, and his supervisor on the shore was Fred Chrisman. Dahl reported that on June 21st, he was on his patrol boat with two men, his son and their dog. Around 2 in the afternoon, Dahl's boat approached the east shore of Maury Island. Maury Island is now attached to Vashon Island by a causeway road and is about 6 miles west of Des Moines, Washington. So we actually lived on Maury Island. We didn't live on the main portion of Vashon. And literally the road now connecting the two is like gravel and pavement. Like if that big earthquake hits the coast,
it's gone.
The two, they're separating.
Oh, bye.
It's gonna be
goodbye.
It's gonna be bad.
Oh yeah, if an earthquake happens up there, it's all gonna be bad.
We don't know what to do. We don't. This isn't California. We don't know what to do.
Right? What?
Yeah. Dahl looked in the sky and saw 6 objects floating about 2,000 feet above his ship. The objects were made of some reflective material, donut-shaped, and about 100 feet in diameter. The center holes were about 25 feet in diameter. Dahl said he also saw round portholes and what he thought was an observation window. 5 of the craft circled over the 6th, which dropped slowly. It stopped and hovered 500 feet above the water. Dahl put to shore because he was afraid the center aircraft was going to crash into his boat. Once ashore, Dahl took several pictures with his camera. The lower ship stayed in position for about 5 minutes, with the others still circling above. One of the ships left the formation and moved down, touching the lower ships. The two kept contact for several minutes until Dahl said he heard a thud. Suddenly, thousands of pieces of what he thought were newspapers dropped from the inside of the center ship. Most of the debris landed in the bay, though some hit the beach. Dahl recovered a few pieces, finding it was lightweight metal. Along with the white metal, the ship dropped about 20 tons of dark metal, which he said looked like lava rock. When the lava rock hit the water, it was so hot that steam erupted. They took cover after several pieces landed on his boat, damaging it. Some debris hit his son in the arm, burning him, and another piece killed his dog.
Jesus.
Oh, man. Jeez. After the rain of metal, the craft rose into the air and headed west out to sea together. Dahl went to his boat and tried to radio for help, but it did not work. They sailed back toward their dock, dropping the dog over the side as a burial at sea. Dahl took his son to the hospital for treatment.
Viking burial right there.
Not even. They're just like, oh, it's dead. Bye.
Well, I mean, if you're running for your lives, but still, R.I.P.
And then told his boss, Fred Chrisman, what had happened. Dahl gave Chrisman the camera, and when the prints were developed, they showed the strange airships. However, the negatives had spots on them, which he compared to film damaged by exposure to radiation. Oh. Chrisman said he did not believe Dahl's story, but nevertheless, he went back to Maury Island where he gathered some rock samples. He said that while he was gathering the rocks, one of the airships appeared overhead as if it was watching him.
Oh my God. Hey.
Dahl told investigators that the next morning a man wearing a black suit visited him and suggested they go to breakfast together.
Men in black!
Right? Dahl drove his own car following the stranger's new black Buick to a restaurant. While they ate, the stranger asked no questions. Instead, he gave a detailed account of what had happened to Dahl the day before. The man in black warned Dahl that bad things would happen to Dahl and his family if he told anyone about the incident. Dahl and Chrisman sent a package to publisher Ray Palmer in Chicago. A year or two later, Palmer founded Fate magazine. Oh, that's just an information on that guy. Okay. The package contained a box of metal fragments and statements about the strange happenings on the 21st and 22nd of July. A few weeks later, Palmer contacted Kenneth Arnold, who was part of the flying saucers at Mount Rainier, that whole thing, which I'll probably talk about on here again.
Yeah.
Who had begun investigating UFOs. Arnold arrived in Tacoma in late July with airline pilot E.J. Smith. The two of them met with Dahl and Chrisman, examined Dahl's boat, and conducted interviews. Dahl and Chrisman did not produce the pictures. However, Dahl also told Arnold that his son has disappeared. Dahl said that his son was found waiting tables in Montana, but he could not remember how he got there.
That's weird.
Right.
Body snatched to become a server. Where am I?
Fucking wow. Montana of all places,
and in
right?
Montana as well, yeah.
Where was I? On the afternoon of July 3rd, Captain Lee Davidson and First Lieutenant Frank Brown in the U.S. Army Air Force flew up to Tacoma from Hamilton Field, California. In addition to being pilots, the two men were intelligence specialists. They met with Arnold Smith and Chrisman for several hours. One of the officers said that he thought there might have been something to the story, but they had to leave around midnight. They were in a hurry to be at Hamilton Field on August 1st, the day when the force was to split from the Army. The two officers flew out to McChord Air Force Field around 2 o'clock in the morning on a B-25 bomber with a crew of 2 other men. About 20 minutes later, the airplane crashed near Centralia, Washington. The two enlisted men managed to parachute to safety, but Davidson and Brown were killed, making them the Air Force's first casualties.
Ooh.
Yeah, what a way to separate, right?
Yeah, right. Dramatic.
Dahl and Chrisman said that the AF officers took some of the strange metal on board. People thought they heard anti-aircraft guns shoot the plane down. The local newspapers and FBI received phone calls stating that the plane was shot down to cover up the information that Brown and Davidson had found. Because of the loss of life, the Air Force broadened its investigations and the FBI launched their own. The Air Force investigators determined that the crash had been a terrible accident. One of the engines caught fire and the men began bailing out. Before Brown and Davidson can jump out, a wing broke and struck the tail section, which also broke off. The plane went into a spin, trapping the men inside. Another Air Force investigator spoke with Dahl and Chrisman and visited their boat. He stated that the damage he saw did not match the damage the two sailors described. There were no pieces of metal on Maury Island, and the existing samples looked like slag from a metal smelter.
Oh.
His conclusion matched that the FBI investigator that Dahl and Chrisman had faked the incident to gain publicity for a magazine article. The FBI warned Dahl and Chrisman that their hoax had not succeeded and if they dropped the matter, the government would not prosecute the men for the fraud, which had resulted in the death of 2 officers.
The government knows exactly what the fuck happened. Oh my god.
At first, Dahl and Chrisman went along. They made statements that the story was fake and simply refused to give interviews on the matter. But a few years later, in January of 1950 issue of Fate magazine, Chrisman stated that the incident had happened, and Kenneth Arnold included Maury Island in his 1952 book, The Coming of the Saucers.
Wow.
Today, most people believe that Chrisman and Dahl faked the incident, perpetuating a hoax that got out of control. Other people believe that the U.S. government was behind a conspiracy that may have involved anything from UFOs to dumping nuclear waste in Puget Sound. They believe a shadow of government agencies sabotaged the B-25 bomber in order to eliminate the investigators and blame Dahl and Chrisman. Some investigators recently visited the crash site, hoping to find some of the strange rocks to prove things one way or another, but so far, no answers have been found.
The government probably went and fucking picked them all up.
Yeah, you don't think that they have, like, ways to detect that shit and, like, get rid of it? That's...
Right.
Ugh.
And it's like, if you keep quiet, you get to live. Like, the FBI telling you that. It's like, bitch, like, I should be telling you what happened. I believe it, 100%.
I don't know what to believe, but I don't believe either way, you know, like...
I guess, yeah. Something weird.
It's something weird happened. Like, you don't just say that stuff, but, you know, drugs live on that island. Like, literally...
But, I mean, it was like 1940, whatever.
45?
45? So, I mean, I guess drugs have been around for a while, but it was probably just, like, mostly drinking back then. But... Yeah,
it's kind of weird that, like, I want to know, that was just, like, a brief article on, like, the basic information, but I want to know, like, where's his son? What happened to, like, have they talked to him anymore? Like,
oh yeah, the son, Jesus,
who just, like, appeared in Montana, has been waiting tables, and is like,
he's been there ever since. Like, he's like 60 now.
Oh my god.
Well, that's be older than that, but yeah,
probably. I don't know, but that's just like, we moved to the island, that's all we could hear, and until the day we left, we heard stuff about it, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like the folklore.
Oh yeah, there's like, people have published books who live on the island, people have published like news articles, done paintings, there's literally like a whole UFO, I don't want to say a UFO air, but like, all of the custom, like, local art culture, there's gotta be some sort of UFO element to it.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's so cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
UFOs.
Yeah. I love that. Apparently I live in, like, the UFO superhighway of America. Like, there's a ton of alien shit down here. Yeah.
That's cool. I wonder if it's like, I really honestly, besides like knowing about the TV show Roswell and knowing about Roswell, I haven't done any like informational research on that. And I really want to, because it sounds really cool. Yeah. But then it also sounds like a bunch of like, it sounds like I'm going to get a lot of runarounds from like government.
Well, the government wants to run it around because they're like, oh, I don't know what you mean. And then there's apparently like a portal in the North Pole. I can talk about that other time, but yeah. There's some secrets going on, y'all. Don't trust your FBI agent.
The single one. Your own personal FBI agent, the one that's following you right now because you're listening to this podcast.
Like my FBI agent obviously sees me crying through my phone camera, but he can't even reach out and say if I'm okay. Shitty FBI agent.
Right? Be my friend!
Right? That's the least you can do. Hi. Oh. But yeah, UFOs. Yay. My turn?
Yes.
Alright.
Shudder is a premium streaming service devoted exclusively to horror and thrillers.
They have thousands of hours of killer content, including Shudder originals.
They also have really awesome curated collections, so if you like demons or witches or ghosts, there's definitely a collection for you.
My favorite collections are A Woman's Touch and The Foundations of Horror.
Mine are A Comedy of Terrors and Haunted Habitations.
So go check out Shudder.com and use the code RAINBOW for your 30-day free trial.
That's Shudder.com. Use the promo code RAINBOW for your 30-day free trial.
Hey, Kayla.
Yes, Paige?
Did you know that Stephen King reads and listens to approximately 70 books per year?
Unlike me, who can barely get through one.
Well, for whatever reading level you're at, you can find the perfect book for you at Audible.
Head to audibletrial.com/RAHM to get a free audiobook and a free 30-day trial.
And if you're looking for recommendations, I suggest The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, a classic.
And I recommend Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. Really creepy.
That's audibletrial.com/RAHM. Go get your free audiobook and free 30-day trial. Bitch. Sorry. So I have a short story for y'all. So this book has followed me around since like 8th grade. I got it at Value Village for like 75 cents or whatever. So it's called Dark Masks, and it's just basically a bunch of short stories. Stephen King has a few, Ramsey Campbell, etc. Other modern masters of horror. So really cool book, and I think Kayla, you would like it because it's good and short stories. And yeah, some of them are just really interesting.
Yeah, I really like... I haven't read a lot of Stephen King's short story collections, but I have read his sons, so
okay,
that counts for something.
Yeah. Yeah, but in case any of you wanted this book, you can probably find it at Value Village as well. So the one that I picked it's by Mort Castle. It's called Party Time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do my best to do like an innocent little kid voice.
No, please don't. It's gonna freak
wondering.
me out.
Mama.
No!
And literally the first word of the story is Mama.
Oh, God.
But I won't exaggerate too much, but okay. Mama had told me it would be... it would soon be party time. That made him excited, but also a little afraid. Oh, he liked party time. He liked making people happy, and he always had fun, but it was kind of scary going upstairs. Still, he knew it would be all right because Mama would be there with him. Everything was all right with Mama, and he always tried to be Mama's good boy. Once, though, a long time ago, he had been bad. Mama must not have put his chain on right, so he'd slipped it off his leg and went upstairs all by himself and opened the door. Oh, did Mama ever whip him for that? Now, he knew better. He'd never ever go up without Mama. And he liked it down in the basement. Liked it a lot. There was a little bed to sleep on. There was a yellow light that never went off. He had blocks to play with. It was nice in the basement.
Oh,
Best
God.
of all, speaking of creepy children, or whatever, best of all, Mama visited him often. She kept him company and taught him to be good. He heard the funny sound that the door at the top of the stairs made, and he knew Mama was coming down. He wondered if it was party time. He wondered if he'd get to eat the happy food.
Oh.
But then I know... I knew you would like this one. But then he thought it might not be party time. He saw Mama's legs, Mama's skirt. Maybe he had done something bad and Mama was going to whip him. He ran to the corner. The chain pulled hard at his ankle. He tried to go away, to squeeze right into the wall. No, Mama, I am not bad. I love my Mama. Don't whip me. Oh, he was being silly. Mama had food for him. She wasn't going to whip him. You're a good boy. Mama loves you, my sweet good boy.
What kind of sick shit is this?
Just wait, dude. Just wait. My good sweet boy. The food was cold. It wasn't the kind of food he liked best, but Mama had said he always had to eat everything she brought him because if not, he was a bad boy. It was hot food he liked the most. He called it the happy food. That's the way he felt. That's the way it felt inside him. Is it party time yet, Mama? Not yet, sweet boy. Don't you worry. It will be soon. You like Mama to take you upstairs for parties, don't you? Yes, Mama. I like to see all the people. I like to make them happy. Best of all, he liked the happy food. It was so good, so hot. He was sleepy after Mama left, but he wanted to play with his blocks before he lay down on his bed. The blocks were fun. He liked to build things with them and make up funny games. He sat on the floor. He pushed the chair out of the way. He put one block on top of another block, then a block on top of that one. He built the blocks up real high, then made them fall. That was funny, and he laughed. Then he played party time with the blocks. He put one block over here and another over there, and the big, big block was Mama. He tried to remember some of the things people said at party time so he could make the blocks talk that way. Then he placed a block in the middle of all of the other blocks. That was Mama's good boy. It was himself. Before he could end the party time game, he got very sleepy. His belly was full, even if it was only cold food.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold on. One more page. He went to bed. He dreamed a party time dream of happy faces and the good food, and Mama was saying, "Good boy, my sweet boy." Then Mama was shaking him. He heard funny sounds coming from upstairs. Mama slipped the chain off his leg. "Come, my good boy." "It's party time?" "Yes." Mama took his hand. He was frightened a little the way he always was just before party time. "It's all right, my sweet boy." Mama led him up the stairs. She opened the door. This is party time. Everyone is so happy." He was not scared anymore. There was a lot of light and so many laughing people in the party room. "Here's the good, sweet boy, everybody." Then he saw it on the floor. Oh, he hoped it was for him. "That's yours, good boy, all for you." He was so happy. It had 4 legs and a black nose. When he walked closer to it, it made a funny sound that was something like the way he sounded when Mama whipped him. His belly made a noise and his mouth went all wet inside. It tried to get away from him, but he grabbed it and he squeezed it real hard. He heard things going snap inside it. Mama was laughing, and so was everybody else. He was making them all so happy. "You know what it is, don't you, my sweet boy?" He knew. It was the happy food.
Holy shit!
How much terror can you get in 3 pages? That much.
What the fuck?
I know. It had 4 legs and a black nose. Oh my god.
Oh man.
I know, I'm sorry to traumatize everyone. What were you gonna ask?
I don't know. Oh, I thought it was gonna be like the Sixth Sense, like the poisoning of the porridge kind of thing.
Oh.
I thought that was gonna be it. Like his stomach hurt, he was feeling tired, and I was like, oh no, no,
more fucked up than that. No. Yeah, more fucked up than that.
Holy shit!
But yeah,
wow.
Thank you. Wow. I need a drink. So that's by
scary.
Mort Castle, and I definitely want to read more from him. Cause
yeah. Yeah.
Because
that reminds me. I totally forgot that I really want to read the some of the short stories. I mean, we've all or the scary stories. We've all read them. The scary stories to tell in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
We've all read them, but I love them. I love them so much.
I don't remember all of them, so
yeah. It's weird because I started reading them the other day. Well, a while ago, but like there are parts in some of the poems and some of the stories where you literally have to like do stuff because they're supposed to literally be like ghost stories that you're telling around a campfire. So like at one point it's like, and now you scream, and I'm like, I ain't gonna do that.
I'll do it. I'll do like the things in parentheses. It'll be a team effort.
Totally. Oh my god, yes. We should do a special.
Yeah, scary stories.
We just read it.
Me as every character and her as the narrator. I'm ready.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool, actually.
That would be.
All right, so we got traumatizing, and now we got kind of depressing. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how do you like true crime stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy.
I mean, who doesn't, right? Oh, I saw this meme. That I think you would enjoy. So it's like, welcome to your 30s, where cauliflower replaces every carb and your only sense of joy is watching murder documentaries.
Oh no! It's almost so true.
I literally ate a fucking cauliflower pizza the other day, and...
Hey, they have them at Costco now.
Hell yeah.
like bulk sizes, so you don't have to spend $50 on one pizza. It's $50 for 3 now.
Dude, that's amazing. Right, see us bonding over cauliflower. But yes, I like true crime.
Okay. So we are doing a Wes Craven episode on Sunday, and I'm so fucking excited.
Me too.
So the last couple of days I've been finishing up all of the TV shows I've been binging.
Mm-hmm.
So like I finally finished Buffy again. And then I just finished watching Stranger Things at the same time. Like I like bounced back and forth.
You're watching them on 2 different screens at the same time.
Pretty much. That's my life.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Just so that like I have nothing to watch and there's nothing on my mind, so I can like literally sit down and watch all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and I'm really excited.
That's cool. Hell yeah. I'm not going to rewatch them because, come on. I've seen them 34 times each. No.
So, this guy is named Danny Harold Rowling, and he was the pseudo-inspiration for Scream.
Oh, yeah.
And he is also known as the Gainesville Ripper.
Okay. So Ghostface, a.k.a.
Yeah, pretty much. Because this happened... So the Wikipedia, I'm literally just reading Wikipedia word for word, so...
You would be shamed if you were in high school trying to do a book report.
Oh, I know.
Can't use Wikipedia.
That's why I'm doing it now, to rebel. I'm an adult, damn it.
Right? Fuck the man.
So, Danny Harold Rowling was also known as the Gainesville Ripper. He was an American serial killer who murdered 5 students in Gainesville, Florida over 4 days in late August of 1990. Rowling later confessed to raping several of his victims, committing an additional November 4th, 1989 triple homicide in Shreveport, Louisiana, and attempting to murder his father in May of 1990. Yay for May!
Yay!
In total, Rowling confessed to killing 8 people. Rowling was sentenced to death for his murders in 1994. He was executed by lethal injection in 2006. Backstory. Danny Rowling was born in Shreveport, Louisiana. His father was a Shreveport, Louisiana officer named James Rowling, who told Danny that he was unwanted from birth and abused his mother.
Jesus.
His mother Claudia and his brother Kevin. In one incident, Danny's mother went to the hospital after claiming her husband tried to make herself cut herself with a razor blade. She made repeated attempts to leave her husband, but always returned. In one example of the senior Rowling's sense of discipline, he pinned Danny to the ground, handcuffed him, and then had police take his son away because he was embarrassed by him. As a teenager and young adult, Rowling was arrested several times for robberies in Georgia and was caught spying on a female getting dressed. As an adult, he had trouble trying to assimilate into society and hold down a steady job. At one point, Rowling worked as a waiter at Pancho's restaurant in Shreveport. In May of 1990, he attempted to kill his father during a family argument in which his father lost an eye and an ear.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like he deserved it.
Fucking right. I was like, So? That's all?
Right, like, and? What about a testicle? Or his tongue?
Or both eyes.
His penis. Yeah, right?
That too. Okay, so here are the serial killings, and this one gets a little... Obviously, it's serial killing, so it's a little bit brutal. In August of 1990, Rowling murdered 5 students, 1 from Santa Fe College and 4 from the University of Florida, during a burglary and robbery spree in Gainesville, Florida. He mutilated his victims' bodies, decapitating 1. He then posed them, sometimes using mirrors. In the early morning hours of Friday, August 24th, Rowling broke into the apartment shared by 17-year-old university freshmen Sonia Larson and Christina Powell. Finding Powell asleep on the downstairs couch, he stood over her briefly but did not wake her up, choosing instead to explore the upstairs bedroom where Larson was also asleep. Rowling murdered Larson, first taping her mouth shut to stifle her screams and then stabbing her to death. She died while trying to fend him off. Rowling then went back downstairs, taped Powell's mouth shut, bound her wrists together behind her back, and threatened her with a knife as he cut her clothes off, then raped her and forced her face down onto the floor, where he stabbed her 5 times in the back.
Ugh.
Yeah.
What a fucking coward, dude. Like,
I know. That's always the hard one, right? Is that, like, if you look at them, you hope they feel bad about it.
Right.
Rowling posed the bodies in sexually provocative positions and left the apartment. A day later, on Saturday, August 5th, Rowling broke into the apartment of 18-year-old Christina Hoyt, prying open a sliding glass door with a K-bar knife and a screwdriver. Finding that she was not home, he waited in the living room for her return. At 11 a.m., Hoyt entered the apartment and Rowling surprised her from behind, placing her in a chokehold. After she had been subdued, he taped her mouth shut, bound her wrists together, and led her into the bedroom, where he cut her clothes from her body and raped her. As in the Powell murder, he forced her face down, stabbed her in the back. This one was worse. So this one is stabbing her in the back, rupturing her heart. Then he decapitated the body and posed her head on a shelf facing the corpse, adding to the shock of whoever discovered the body.
God.
By now, the murders had attracted widespread media attention, and many students were taking extra precautions, such as changing their daily routines, sleeping together in groups. Because the spree was happening so early in the fall semester, some students withdrew their enrollment or transferred to other schools.
I mean, I probably would.
I know, same. I'd be like, this isn't worth it. I don't need this.
It's like, no.
23-year-old Tracy Paul, it's either Pauls or Paules, Paules, was living with Manny Taboda, also 23. What the fuck is this? 23-year-old Tracy Paulus was living with Manny Taboda, also 23, her burly 200-pound roommate.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if it's a boy, because Manny's usually a boy name, right? It might be a girl.
I'm gonna assume it's a boy, but you never know.
On Monday, August 27th, Rowling broke into the apartment by prying open the sliding glass door with the same tools he used previously. Rowling found Taboda asleep in one of the bedrooms, and after a struggle with the young man, it was a man, eventually killing him. Hearing the commotion, Paulus went down the hall to Taboda's room and saw Rowling. She attempted to barricade herself in her bedroom, but Rowling broke through the door. Rowling taped her mouth and wrists, cut off her clothes, raped her before turning her over and stabbing her in the back. Rowling posed Paula's body, but left Taboda's in the same position in which she had died. With the exception of Taboda, all the victims were petite Caucasian brunettes with brown eyes. Although law enforcement initially had very few leads, police did identify two suspects, one a University of Florida student who had a history of mental illness and bore numerous scars on his face from a car accident, making him an ideal image when discussing news about the investigation. That's so fucked up.
It is.
I hate that shit.
Wow.
They're like, oh, you look like a psycho.
Yeah,
so we're going to put you in the spotlight. What the fuck did that do to that kid?
Ugh.
Like, sorry.
A lot. Oh.
Yeah. His photo was shown repeatedly by media outlets. Authorities publicly cleared him of all charges after Rowling's arrest. The other suspect was also cleared. Later, on September 7th, 1990, Rowling was arrested in Akala on a burglary charge, and in the course of that investigation, his tools were matched to the marks left on Gainesville murder scenes. The small one-man camp where he was living in a wooded area located near the apartment complexes, frequented by students, including those of the victims. Their investigators discovered recordings Rowling had made of himself singing country songs that he had composed and audio diaries alluding to the crimes.
So just like his like crime diary and then his country western cover songs.
Like I'm gonna be a star. Yeah. Oh, actually, hang on. Yes. Continuing. Rowling was brought to trial by Alachua County State Attorney Len Register nearly 4 years after the murders. He claimed his motive was to become a superstar, similar to Ted Bundy.
Well, he did. Well, I mean, kind of. Like, I hadn't heard of him before this, but...
Yeah.
He did the same thing, like, murdering, like, the girls that look similar and stuff, so I guess I can see it, but...
I feel like I've read a lot of things about how serial killers mimic other people, like other serial killers, just like their fame, I guess, specifically the fame. Yeah. Rowling was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and paraphilia.
What's that?
That is... Paraphilia is the experience of intense sexual arousal to atypical objects, situations, fantasies, behaviors, or individuals. Such attraction may be labeled sexual fetishism. No consensus has been found for any precise border between unusual sexual interests and paraphilic ones.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you have a lot of kinks, you're probably a paraphiliac.
Yeah, but, like, you don't usually hurt people. It's, like, the opposite point of...
Yeah. No, that's where the antisocial and the borderline
yeah.
personality disorder come in and clash.
Yeah, he probably... Yeah, no, I mean, I can imagine a lot of serial killers or just, you know, murdering somebody in general can be, like, arousing.
Yeah, that's a lot of them have that issue, and that's really sad. But it's weird because usually at some point they were like sexually abused.
This guy was just abused his whole life.
Yeah,
like, it's quite tragic. But
so the further murders after Rowling was arrested, police in Louisiana alerted the authorities in Florida to an unresolved triple murder. So this was the previously mentioned.
okay.
Detectives noticed that there were similarities between the Gainesville murders and those of 55-year-old William Grissom and his 24-year-old daughter Julie and his 8-year-old grandson Sean. The family had been attacked in their home and they were preparing for dinner. Afterwards, Julie Grissom's body had been mutilated, cleaned, and posed. Although Rowling never officially confessed to investigators handling the Grissom case, he did write about the murders and using information that only a killer would know. So yeah, so he was cocky about it. So there's a lot of things so this is all about his legacy. Rowling had been the subject of several written works. His murders inspired screenwriter Kevin Williamson to pen the script of the popular 1996 slasher film Scream. So a lot of writers collaborated with him for their true crime stories. So Sandra London wrote Making of a Serial Killer, the true crime story of the Gainesville murders, and in the killer's own words, he's a subject of Beyond Murder, also in Foul Blood, feature film of the Gainesville Ripper. Then there's a lot of like true crime TV shows on the Discovery Channel, Science Channel. A lot of episodes in TV are based on him, like in CSI and shit.
Well, he wanted to become a celebrity, and congratulations, we're talking about you on our podcast, so you've made it.
You've made it on a very low podcast.
Hey, you gotta dream big, man.
Yeah. So listen to this. While on death row at Florida State Prison, Rowling wrote songs and poems and drew pictures. His works have been referred to as an example of murderabilia. Murderabilia is the term identifying collectibles related to murders, and other violent crimes coined by Andy Cohen, director of the Houston Police Department. So like when murderers are in jail and they're like, I'm going to write a book.
Or like with John Wayne Gacy. Do you know about his whole thing with that?
I have tried so hard not to listen or read stuff about him because I really want to talk about him.
Oh, okay. I was just going to tell you about his little murder.
Oh, yeah, no, tell me that. Okay. Totally.
Well, when he was in prison, like, he, of course, had a lot of followers and fans, I guess you can say. Mm-hmm. So he would mail out these clown drawings, and you can look it up online, like, just John Wayne Gacy, like, fucking prison drawings. And it was always the same one that he would send. And come to find out, he had a fucking assembly line of dudes making them for him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so he, like, made them his bitches. And, like, so one person would do, like, the hat, and the other person would do the tree, and it was just, like, this whole thing. And that's how... Yeah, so... Speaking of murderabilia. And then, of course, crazy. Like, writing letters to Charles Manson and shit, so...
Oh, of course. They all have to.
Yeah.
Their OG example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, let's tell her... Oh, my God. Let's say one happy thing.
Okay.
You can go first, because I have to think of mine.
Okay, I took a moment to pause. Sorry. It's not that I can't think of one. It's just like, I was just gonna say, I love life, but I should be more specific than that. So I recently started a job that doesn't completely drain me, and I'm really excited about that, and I feel like things are just kind of like falling into place, so that's always cool.
That's totally, you seem a lot less drained. Drained is a good word, yeah. You seem a lot less drained than you did when you were at your old job.
Oh yeah. I have some life to me now.
You actually can have a life now.
I know, right? Yeah, because like my whole thing was trying to like build some sort of like, I don't know, money making method that I could support myself, but also not really be tied down to a 9-to-5 job or be a slave for somebody who I didn't want to be. And it's taken a little bit, but I think I finally figured it out. So yay.
Yay, that's cool. I'm really happy for you.
Thanks, man.
I'm still thinking of mine. I think,
oh, really?
I think mine is a little bit more very similar to what you said. Like, I love life, but I think it's for me, it's I'm really figuring out how to juggle more than one. I don't want to say hobby because that makes it seem not important, but like I have decided to like start my other small business and then keep going with the podcast and kind of find a way to integrate the two and kind of really making this my life. Like I'm opening the P.O. box, I'm opening the Etsy store, I'm finding out what kind of materials I'm gonna need, and like I'm going full scale. And I always love this portion of like when I get into a new groove, because I'm always so inspired to just like work, and then it plateaus, and then I'm either really in love or I really hate it.
Right. It's called hustling.
Hustle. The hustle called life.
Pretty much, it never stops. So, yay.
It all will someday. Oh my god. I just brought it all down again. Okay, no. Sorry.
No, I mean, it's like I said to you earlier.
Oh, I tried to ignore that.
Just like life. I know you didn't reply, and I'm like, hey, sorry to take the conversation there, but like nothing lasts forever. It's cool. Oh my god. But yes, love life while you're here. Thank you for joining us.
Hustle that life. DDTKA.
Hustle your ass. Be a good friend and laugh. And be a femme shark.
Femme sharks for life.
Sharks.
So, if you want to send us your short stories, your articles, your weird stuff that you just want us to see, poetry, preferably whatever. Not your penis, that would be great.
That's a little bit too weird.
Send it to rainbowsandhorrormovies@gmail.com or our subreddit and Facebook group at RAHM Podcast. Get our bonus episodes, Patreon /RAHM Podcast, donating all of our stuff to some awesome foundations. All the information on that is at our website at rainbowsandhorrormovies.com. Social media, RAHM Podcasts. BK for me. For Paige, it's at Floral Coffin. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, download, do whatever person. You do.
Yeah.
Be a good person.
Yeah.
And
make good choices.
And
oh, that's not our exit. Be a good person and make good choices, but also stay strange
and unusual.
Bye.
Bye.